Clarity on the political issues in Zimbabwe. Dewa Mavhinga of Human Rights Watch joins me on the phone from Johannesburg, South Africa. Good evening, Mr. Mavhinga.
Good evening, Vincent. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, and our first question here is really what is legal, what is illegal in this ruling?
Well, the courts of Zimbabwe have spoken clearly on the legal matters, which is to say that the police have no power to limit constitutional rights, and therefore the ban on protests in Harare are illegal and unconstitutional. But what is happening is also that the police insist on the ban in a manner that shows operation outside the rule of law, operation outside respect for the Constitution.
Now, when the police make such a kind of an announcement in defiance of the court, are they breaking the law?
Yes, clearly so, and this is part of this text from the High Court decision recently that the police had violated the law and had breached the right in the Constitution. But the problem with Zimbabwe's repression is that this is sanctioned or supported by the government, and therefore there are no repercussions for the police. There is no punishment or justice. So the police would do so with impunity, with the knowledge that the government is supportive of this action, which is completely outside the framework of the rule of law.
From what you hear within the country, do the citizens have the appetite for more confrontations with law enforcement officers?
Yes, absolutely. And this is the thing that ever since, we have had these numerous protests begin several months ago, reaction and response from the government has never been to engage with the issues. It's never been to address the grievances from citizens, but it has been to seek to crush the voices of the protesters without addressing the root cause of why people are going on the streets to demand better governance and better lives. So for as long as we have this kind of economic collapse, massive corruption and bad governance under Mugabe's leadership, we are likely to see more of these demonstrations and demands for reforms, including electoral reforms.
Knowing what you know in Zimbabwe from the history of the country, will any of the protests actually amount to anything?
Well, in the past we have had, like in 2007, protests that have resulted in the Southern African Development Community intervening and mediating a peace process. So the chances are that the protests will amount to something, especially if they are sustained and they continue to escalate, because Mugabe's government is very arrogant and only responds to a show of people power on the streets. So it also depends on whether or not we have the protesters escalating the protests so that they would force the government of Mugabe to the table.
Now, legally, given that Mugabe himself has chided the courts for, in a way, supporting the citizens' right to protest and the defiance from the police force, in terms of recourse, what does the opposition have? What is the option here?
There are several options. The first option is obviously to continue to challenge these bans within the courts, the High Court and the Constitutional Court. And beyond that, you would find that the ban only covers a small part of the capital city, Harare, and the opposition groups can freely demonstrate and protest elsewhere in the country, and they should utilize that. Also, they should try and seek recourse within the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, because Zimbabwe has ratified that Charter on African People's Rights, and what is happening is a violation of the rights in the African Charter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mavhinga. We do appreciate your insight. Yeah.